School uniforms are a highly controversial topic of discussion. Some think that they help to reduce socioeconomic barriers between students, whereas others think they reduce students' individuality and rob them of self-expression. So that this video is easy to understand, I'm going to put the pros and cons of school uniforms into three groups: socioeconomic pros and cons relating to the effects school uniforms have on students' individuality and ability to express themselves, and the educational pros and cons. Let's get to it. The greatest advantage of school uniforms is their ability to reduce socioeconomic divides between students. The word socioeconomic simply refers to something that relates to social and economic factors. People in favour of school uniforms argue that because everybody wears the same thing, it reduces these differences between students. For example, rich kids can't buy expensive clothes, and poor kids can't get bullied for not following the set fashion trends. Furthermore, people argue that in poorer areas, uniforms help where certain baggy clothing can be used to conceal weapons, or certain clothing used to imply gang affiliation. Opponents of school uniforms argue that they don't level the playing field between poorer kids and richer kids, because they put a significant financial burden on poorer parents to buy the actual uniforms. This leads to kids from poorer families having one uniform that becomes tatty, whereas the rich have many. Moreover, opponents of school uniforms argue more generally that they're about schools making money off parents and not about levelling the playing field at all. The next group of arguments for and against school uniforms concerns students' ability to express themselves and have a sense of individuality. Opponents of school uniforms argue that they rob students of their ability to do this because everybody has to wear the same thing. This lack of self-expression can be harder on certain groups under certain punitive dress codes. For example, certain dress codes force girls to wear exclusively skirts or dresses. People in favour of school uniforms would argue that students can express their individuality through clothing accessories, such as bags, socks, and earrings. They would also argue that even if this is not the case, there is a benefit to students having less individuality, in that it can help enhance school pride and a sense of community. As well as this, uniforms can be represented as more like suits and dresses worn in the workplace, which helps students prepare for adult life. I think this represents the essential debate of school uniforms: conformity versus individuality. Should students be taught to respect and do exactly as authority tells them, or should they be pushed to express themselves and have their own sense of individuality? Can the two ideas be brought together? The final group of arguments for and against school uniforms relates to their effect on educational outcomes for students. Proponents argue that school uniforms get rid of a major distraction. Students are focused less on their own or others' appearance and instead on their education. Also, school uniforms are a lot easier to enforce than dress codes, so this also saves time that can be spent on studying. Opponents of school uniforms would argue that they have no measurable effect on improving grades or attendance, so their utility should be questioned. Some also assert that the emphasis on school uniforms is an attempt to distract away from the quality of education some schools provide. To conclude, it seems to me that the debate about school uniforms comes down to what value you think is most important to teach to students: individuality or conformity. Proponents of school uniforms think that conformity is the most important value. Thus, school uniforms can help to reinforce a sense of school pride and respect to authority, as well as equality among students. Opponents of school uniforms argue that they provide no measurable improvement on students' educational prospects. Instead, that they rob them of their individuality and ability to express themselves. What do you guys think about school uniforms? Write your opinion in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.